Hello YouTube, this is Zach, and today I'm going to be analyzing another Dimash video. First thing before I get started, I apologize if my video quality looks a little bit different from normal. I'm on a temporarily slightly different setup. My camera is a little bit lower, lighting's a little bit different, so if it doesn't look as good or sound as good as it normally does, don't worry, that won't last forever. I'm in the process of moving, and so I'm kind of having to just make it work the best that I can. Anyway, this is Opera 2. I just kind of went through Dimash's stuff, and I was like, this looks cool. So I don't even know what it is. I've gotten so many recommendations from Dimash fans, I guess the deers you guys call yourselves, that I don't even know which one to pick. So I'm just going through and grabbing random stuff. So let's do it. This is Opera 2. Oh, this is Vitas. Okay, this is a Vitas song. Okay. Oh, I think I've heard this. I've heard the Vitas of this. Oh, that's cool. This has nothing to do with like singing technique or anything like that, but it's really interesting how he's even kind of I know this is like a cover of Vitas, but he's almost like taking on the same smile, like kind of taking on his demeanor while he's performing it. I didn't realize this was a Vitas piece, or I don't want to compare the two to each other, but so far so good. I mean, he's performing it about the same way that Vitas did, so it sounds great so far. You know, obviously he's going to do something that's going to blow your mind in every video, so we'll just see what it is when it gets there. But yeah, so far, consistent chord closure, consistent tone, consistent intonation, all things that we've come to expect from Dimash. Singing in this range is clearly just kind of like a baseline, simple, doesn't require a lot of crazy technique or method. When you're singing kind of in the low, middle part of your voice, you could just kind of treat it like you're speaking. You don't have to do anything too crazy. When I teach students, I kind of build from that perspective up. Sorry, you guys, in this last edit, something hilarious has happened. I sneezed in the middle of recording, and it was a mini disaster. So I kind of lost my train of thought. Where was I? Oh, okay, yeah. I was talking about whenever I teach when students are new and we're trying to build the technique, you know, we usually work around this kind of comfortable speech-like range, you know, and there's a lot of misconceptions about the way that you should approach singing. I got to be careful how I word this because I don't want the wrong people to hear it and get upset. But when you hear people talk a lot about speech singing, that's kind of a little bit of a misnomer. It's not exactly the way to describe it. The way I like to teach people is that when you sing, you are using the same mechanism as when you speak, but you're just ramping up the intensity. It's like jogging or sprinting as opposed to just walking. And so just like when you jog or when you run or sprint or whatever, you can't use your body at the same intensity level as when you walk. So the way that I like to teach people to start out is have them walk, which is basically speaking and singing interchangeably, having them sing a lot of things that are kind of around their spoken range. And so the reason that you do that is so that the body can get used to that coordination of having to control the pitch that you use. And then as we develop and as the student gets better and better and more consistent, we'll increase the range on things and kind of bump it up and ramp things up and get them working up in the higher or the lower parts of the voice. But the way this correlates to what Dimash is doing right here is that it's going to be very, very easy for him to sing in this range. Like, he's probably not putting much effort into it at all, and that's kind of why you can see him putting this extra characterization in, kind of giving that little Vitas smile, that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm not trying to be too long-winded about it, but even when you're singing in the middle of the voice, you know, kind of the lower middle part of the range, you can't be totally autopilot, but that's when you're going to hear singers probably sound the most like how they speak. You're going to hear the least amount of affectation or major change in the timbre or tone, and like you're going to hear the most consistent common sound in the middle of the voice. He's using a sorry, I know I just stopped it. I'm sorry. I know you guys hate that. I wanted to point this out because I'm thinking about it. He's using a little bit more of a low larynx position when he sings this, and Vitas does. Like, so if you can hear this, he almost got this dark kind of quality on this line right here. Like, particularly right here. You kind of sound like that. That's a low laryngeal position that makes that sound. So just wanted to point that out. I'm trying not to directly compare to Vitas, but I kind of, when you've heard something, you kind of know what to expect. And so when I hear things that aren't what Vitas did, I kind of want to point out just to kind of give you guys maybe some perspective on why he might, even though he's singing some of the Vitas song, why he might sound distinctively different from Vitas.
Real quick, I hope you're enjoying this video, and if you are, please give it a like and subscribe. That will help me so much. Also, I do offer voice instruction. I'm a professional singing teacher, and I offer voice instruction through my Discord server, so I highly encourage you to join. That's where my entire community is. That's where all my students are. We do weekly vocal workshops. I do free vocal assessments for all incoming students, and it's just a really good place to be. I also do offer a Patreon if you want to kind of get a little bit more of a bird's eye view on the things I do, get early access to the videos and things like that. But yeah, please join my Discord server. I'd love to see you there. Hope you enjoy the video.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I mean, I guess I guess I'm Dimash desensitized a little bit because I've just seen him do so much crazy stuff that, like, I knew when this chorus came up that I knew he'd be able to nail that. Like, I'm not surprised. For a long time, back when I heard the original Vitas recording, I thought that he was moving into like a whistle voice and M3, but it's not. It's just, I think this is just an extremely high head voice or M2 register. And it's not all people can sing that high. I mean, I maybe have a few students. What pitches? Actually, let me check that real quick. Yeah, C6. So I have let's say 3 woman students who can sing those pitches. I don't have any male students who can sing in that range at all. I have a few that can, you get moderately kind of halfway there in the 5th octave, but I don't have any men that can sing up in this range. With women, your coloratura sopranos and some of your really high mezzos can get up there pretty fluidly, pretty consistently. But men, you do not see men singing C6s very often, and it's just like I said, I just nothing surprises me about Dimash anymore. I don't I don't mean to downplay him at all, but he's just so good, and he's just so skilled that, like, this seems like this sounds so bad for you to say. This sounds simple for him compared to some of the other things I've heard him do. But hey, it's not over yet. Yeah, he's making it. He makes it look easy, and I think he makes it look easier than Vitas did. I hope I'm saying Vitas right. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Vitas? I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah. He's definitely singing this with a more low laryngeal position. Like, this is your larynx. He's lowering a little bit more on this. I mean, I'm obviously a bass baritone, so I'm going to sing it down an octave. But the difference is if I sing it da 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 da, if I get lower larynx da 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 da, the more operatic thing, and I think that's more appropriate considering that it's called opera 2, that you sing with kind of a lower laryngeal position, because that's the operatic singing position. Even though this isn't technically like, your Pavarotti opera piece, your Mozart, your Verdi, your Puccini is not like that. It is called opera 2, so I actually prefer Dimash's approach to vocalizing it because he's got the low laryngeal position, whereas Vitas, when he sings it, doesn't. So I think that this is more appropriate to the title. Maybe I'm being pedantic here, but I don't know. I like that about this. I like the lower larynx sound. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's even got some vibrato on that note. Yeah, he makes it look so easy. Really nice. Like, yeah, one thing that Vitas didn't have a lot of is in that top note, in that C6, he didn't have a lot of vibrato. That spinny sound, he didn't have a lot of that, if any at all, in the top note in the recordings I've seen of it, but Dimash does. Well, there's a whole different topic, but vibrato, we don't really know what the origin of it is. Ingo Titze, basically, he's like the greatest vocal researcher on the planet. He basically has correlated vibrato to being some kind of tremor that operates beneath the vocal folds, but we can't see it because when you try to look down there with a camera, it's all blocked up because the folds are closing. So we don't really know the source of the vibrato, but we do know that the back of the throat, the larynx, the back of the larynx, and like leading up to the pharynx, kind of up here on the back wall, has to do this kind of like wobbling motion for the vibrato to be carried out through the vocal tract appropriately. So the fact that he's getting some vibrato in that sound means that his laryngeal position when he sings this line is very relaxed. Otherwise, the vibrato would not come through. So there is some vibrato on this, which is also something that makes him distinctive from what Vitas did. Key change. Wow. I mean, yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, there, now he's gonna go, yeah. Of course, he's got to one up everybody. Was that okay, buddy. Of course, he had to do the little arm set. Oh. Wow. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I don't know. You know, Dimash is one of those, he's one of those guys that, you know, some singers, like I've found a few of these when in my channel, you know, that I watch, and I just kind of just enjoy the show. Because some of this stuff I just can't explain. I don't know. I would like to say that I'm very educated on the voice. I mean, I went to school for 7 years for it and for college, and I've been performing almost, you know, my entire first half of my life. I was performing constantly, and even into college, I performed for many years, and I've been teaching almost completely ever since. I've been teaching for 11 years now, and I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of people. And in all those years, I just haven't run into anybody that can do something like this. So I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I know the mechanism, but I don't know his technique. I can't teach you to do that. I mean, and that's fine. I'm willing to accept the limits of my knowledge and expertise in that regard. And when you watch Dimash, you just kind of have to just be like, of course. I mean, of course he's gonna one up the prior version of it by jumping up. I don't even know it. I lost the pitch. I forgot what it is, but it was at least. I think that was at least like an E flat 6, right? At least. I don't have perfect pitch, so I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, come on. Like, it's Dimash. He's amazing. What more is there to say about the guy? I'm sure that I've been trying to do one Dimash video per month, and I'm sure the next month's video will be something equally mind-blowing. So if you guys don't mind, I know that everybody likes to leave comments about this stuff. Do me a favor. If you leave suggestions on which Dimash video to talk about next. Well, first off, here's a plug for myself. If you go on my Patreon, if you sign up for the request here, I'll do whichever one you want. But if you are going to leave comments and tell me what to recommend, check the other comments and give a thumbs up on stuff that you agree with, so that I can kind of see what you all are wanting to see the most. Because I mean, I'm down to talk about any Dimash video you want. There's so much, and when I look at other reactors and other voice teachers and analysis and stuff like that. There's so many options that I just don't even know where to look. So please feel free to let me know any of it. Yeah, I mean, this is incredible. Of course it was. I mean, I mean, what? It's like, this is like when I talk about Ronnie James Dio in the metal world. You know, of course it's a Dio performance. Of course it's going to be amazing. Of course it's Dimash. Of course it's going to be amazing. You know, so I don't mean to downplay it, but the guy's so good that it makes me just like, yep, that's Dimash. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I wasn't super educational like I normally am, but I hope you learned a little bit from it. And yeah, I will see you all again soon when I talk about Dimash again next month. Put your suggestions in the comments. Thanks, guys. Bye.